right, the next tool that we're going to take a look at is TeamTools. So let me get to TeamTools here. And TeamTools is in the Class Tools category, so you can click on that and you can find it over here. If you ever forget which category and want to just find it, go to All Tools and just start typing what you're looking for. So TeamTools, and it pops up like that. And you can see here at a glance what you can do with TeamTools. So you can form mixed teams, form random pairs, split the class into groups, save team furniture layouts. So lots of great things you can do that are especially helpful for cooperative learning teams and pairs. But for those of you who are not using teams and pairs, lots of ways to split the class as well. So let's click into TeamTools. And when I get here, it says to select a class list to form teams, pairs, or split the class into groups. And notice here, I have period 1 English that I have in here. I know I have 30 students in this class. And this is a little class that I set up in a different video on setting up class lists. Take a peek at that one if you want to see how to set up class lists. So when I'm in TeamTools, I have a few different options. Let me click on the Do button here. And I can use this to form teams. I could split this class into groups. I could edit or view this class. I can copy it if you wanted to copy it. And you can delete it, not from TeamTools, but from the class view. You can delete this list also. So let's do the most typical thing we would do with TeamTools is form teams. So I'm going to click on this little form teams button right here. And notice what happens here. So it says, this is my period 1 English class. Here's all my students in my class. This little toggle switch between teams and pairs, it's set to teams. So these are my cooperative learning teams of 4. Recommended for Kagan cooperative learning. And these groups are set up, they're heterogeneous groups, which basically means they're mixed ability groups. So I have, for the most part, a high medium, a low medium, and a low on every team. Notice they won't always fall out perfectly like that. So it's just recommending kind of one possibility to get students in heterogeneous teams. I have 30 students in my class, so it says I can make 6 teams of 4, and it automatically tells me how many teams of 3 or how many teams of 5 it's recommending. And you'll notice we ended up with 2 teams of 3 over here. So this is a heterogeneous team, and I can say love it, hate it, want to keep it, don't want to keep it. And I'll show you if you just don't like it for whatever reason and just want completely new recommendation, you go down to this new teams button. I click it again and it's notice what it's doing. It's giving me high, medium, and low teams again, but it's mixing them up entirely. So Wyatt and Mason, notice are high, medium on team 4. When I click this new teams button, kept Mason there, but notice Emma's not there. So it mixes them up using the same grouping criteria. All right, so I kind of like these teams. That these are close to what I was hoping for, but maybe Claire and Nathan, for whatever reason, I don't want to have them on the same team. So I'm going to drag Claire over here, and I'm going to put Gavin over here. I think this might be a better team. So you have some control over moving students across teams. It's pretty easy to just drag and drop them. You have the ability to move the entire team too. So if I have teams set up in my classroom, so team 1's in the front, for example, and I know, ooh, I really want team 3 to be in the front of the class, I just drag and drop them over here. So you have a lot of control over your teams. The next thing we can do is we can set up team names, and there's a few ways you can do that. Is you can type them here, and we can call these, why don't we call this the Wizards? And you can just type in whatever name either you come up with or you have your students name their own teams. You can add them in that way. We have a few under this team names little drop down here. You can clear them out. Notice went back to team names, or you can just put some different team options in here. So they could just be team numbers. So we'll just number your teams. Animals, it'll give teams different animal names. So just some fun ways to name your teams if you're not having students name your teams or you have preset team names. And one more little button over here, add teams. So if you wanted for whatever reason to have another team, you could say, all right, well, let's put Audrey and, oops, I was hoping to get Adrian. And let's see, another team of 4. We're going to put Claire over here. And notice what I did is I took some teams of 4 and just created a new team and dragged them around to more teams of 3 for whatever reason. You have complete control over how you want to set that up. So let's go back to new teams and go back to a recommendation. So we notice how it gives us the same recommendation. It likes 6 teams of 4 and 2 teams of 3 for 30 students. All right, so once I'm happy with my teams, I can go ahead and save these teams. And I am going to save this as, we're just going to call this the month of September teams. And you can use whatever naming convention you want to use, by the month, by the quarter, however you want to name your arrangement. So let's save that. And this is basically where you form and reform your teams, is under the Form Teams view. Now, when I click on the Cards view, what happens there is, notice it got rid of those color-coded achievement levels. And the reason there is those are for the teacher's eyes only. We don't want students seeing those achievement levels, and they're put on teams. And notice and we can use this for printing and sharing if we wanted, but we have our teams in here, and it assigns student numbers and partner A, partner B numbers. So this is student 1, student 2, partner A, and partner B. Really helpful management tools for using Kagan Cooperative Learning. You can go ahead and print that out of your browser or take a screenshot and print that and use that. There's a list view, so same exact teams, just printed as a list. And the next view here is the layout view. And what this layout view does is it's just a real simple representation of what a classroom layout would look like. So this is the front of the class. This is the back of the class. And you can say, okay, well, this is kind of how I want my teams set up. And you're welcome, obviously, to set them up however you want. We have some great ideas in our book on cooperative learning on for management tips, kind of for classroom arrangement. But let's say I'm happy with that, and notice team 1 over here, seat 1, 2, 3, and 4 correspond to these students here. So team 1, student 1 is going to be Zoe over here. If you're looking at the furniture and saying, ooh, I don't have arm desks in my classroom, I have different type of furniture, that's what this little furniture arrangement is for here. And there's a few different options here. So for example, you can put them in tables, you can put them in rounds. Rose has a row configuration, but let's go back to tables. And it's best if you choose that as the first step, because notice it kind of rearrange them, although we could throw them back pretty quickly and easily. So here's my classroom configuration. And you might be saying, well, I don't have all the same furniture in my classroom. And there's one more little trick here. So if you double click on any team, so you can replace this tables with, let's say that's a round. And I got desks here. So you can mix and match the furniture within your classroom to just represent what you actually have. All right, and if I like that layout, I can go ahead and I would click the Save Layout button. So the next time you take a look at this class or this team arrangement, it would keep that layout for you. All right, so that is the basic idea with teams. Let's go back here. I'm not going to save anything, but let's go back to Form Teams and show you some different options. So under Teams, yeah, three ways you can do teams. You can do random teams, heterogeneous teams we already did. So notice what happens with random teams. It's not paying any attention to these ability levels, and it's just randomly throwing um, students into teams. It looks like it's grouping lows and highs and lows and highs and lows and highs here, but that's just a random thing. So if I click new, it throws it around again. So completely different layout for random. So you may want to use random teams if you have heterogeneous teams as your base teams and you want to just kind of mix things up for fun and have some random assignments. Quick and easy way to do that. And similar ability teams. So if you wanted to do a breakout for differentiated instruction, you have some different ability levels for the same content, for example. You might make a team of your highs, your mediums, low mediums, and low students. So that's really what those scores and achievement levels are for and why we have them in there, just to make it really easy for you to click a button and you got your teams. If I click on pairs, so notice what it does here. It's just taking whatever arrangement I have in my teams and it's splitting them into pairs. So Violet and Owen are partners, Wyatt and Ethan are partners. And I say, ooh, I wanted pairs, but I didn't want them like that. So you have different options for your pairs as well. So you have, you can group pairs, and I'll just click through these quickly so you can see them. This is my high, medium pair, so it maximizes as many high, medium as it can. You got high, low, medium, high lows, random, and similar ability pairs. So look what happens with similar ability pairs. It looks like that. And then for the cards, the list, and the layout view, it also kind of splits them into the different pairs. So if you wanted to keep those pairs for whatever reason and print them, you can do that as well. All right, well, that's the basic thing you can do with forming teams. And the primary things you'll probably be using them for if you're using Kagan Cooperative Learning. Next up, let me show you what you can do if you wanted to split your class into different groups. Okay, so now when I go back to TeamTools, notice this. So now I have my Period 1 English class, and remember we saved September teams. It creates this little icon here, load teams, a little label. So if I click on that, it will take me back to my that set of teams. For a class, you can save a number of different team arrangements. If you have multiple periods, you can have multiple team arrangements for different classes. So completely up to you. And if you wanted to get rid of one at any point, you can get rid of it here. And there's a couple different sort options. If you have a lot of classes that you're juggling here, you can sort them there. So let's go ahead and for Period 1 English, let's look at the split into groups options. All right, when I click on that, it pops up this little dialog box that gives you a few options. It's saying, okay, we're going to split our class into different groups, and there's three different options here that you can use. You can create two groups. So say, for example, you wanted to form teams for using for PE, you can do that. You had debate groups, you can do that. Say I wanted to do jigsaw and have four large groups in the classroom, you could have four large groups. So just different ways you can split your class into an exact number of groups. You can create groups with exactly 4 students per group, or that's that option, or this option here, create groups with approximately 4 students per group. And the only difference between these two is exactly 4 students per group. If you want exactly 4 students per group, you can do that. But you may end up with 4 students on every group and one group with 1 student, which is not the best for a lot of situations. So that's what this button down here is for. Create groups with approximately 4. So it's going to say, ooh, you want about 4 students per group. And if it doesn't break out evenly like that, you might end up with a couple groups with 3. But it's approximately what you're looking for. So you can play with that to see which ones you prefer. And then for group types, you can do random, so that doesn't pay attention to ability level, or you can do balanced where it is looking at those student scores. So let's do a simple one, and I'm going to go ahead and just split my class randomly into 2 groups, and let's see what happens. So there you go. I got 2 different groups here, and I can do anything I want with the groups. Let's do one more thing. Oh, and by the way, this works the same. So if I wanted to move these around and say, ooh, so right now I have 2 groups of 15, so that works out perfectly. But I can feel free to mix and match students to make them more balanced in whatever way I feel is appropriate.